In this video, I'll be running through where to find all the various NPCs to access LFRs from previous expansions from Cataclysm all the way up to Shadowlands. I'll also run through the various wings, and on screen as well you should see the wings plus the bosses that are found within the wings in case you're after a specific boss. So the first raid up is going to be Dragonsoul and Cataclysm. This is the only Cataclysm raid available because it was the first raid to introduce LFR. To get to this, you'll want to head to the Caverns of Time in Terrace. You'll fly all the way to the main chamber at the bottom, and on the right hand side where the entrance to the Dragonsoul raid is, just in front of the raid you'll find the NPC that will give you access to the LFR. And for Dragonsoul you're going to be able to do the Siege of Wyrmrest Temple and the Fall of Deathwing. Next up is going to be Mr. Pandaria, and for this one you'll want to head to the Vale of Eternal Blossoms. Above Mogu'shan Palace, the dungeon, you'll find a kind of like extra building on the top. You'll want to fly up there and go inside that building, and there'll be 3 pandas on the right hand side. It's the far right panda that's going to give us access to LFR. Now if you don't see these pandas, what you'll want to do is turn around, head back outside the building, and on the right side there should be kind of like a bronze drake NPC that's got a beam of light on it. If you speak to that NPC, you'll be able to change the timelines. Do that, head back inside, and now you should be able to see the pandas. And this NPC is going to give us access to Mogu'shan Vaults with the Guardians of Mogu'shan and Vaults of Mysteries, Heart of Fear with Dread Approach and Nightmare of Shek'zir, Terrace of Endless Spring which only has 1 wing, Throne of Thunder which has the Last Stand of the Dazar'alor, Forgotten Depths, Halls of Flesh Shaping and Pinnacle of Storms, and finally Siege of Orgrimmar which is going to have Veil of Eternal Sorrows, Gates of Retribution, Uphold and Downfall. The next expansion will be Warlords of Draenor, and for this, to access LFR you will need a garrison, and you will need a garrison to at least level 2 or 3. A level 1 base garrison will not be good enough. If you don't have a garrison at all, then what I'll do now is show you the 2 locations for the NPCs. For Frostfire Ridge that'll be Horde, and for Alliance it'll be Shadowmoon Valley. Head to that location, you should see a quest chain. Follow through that quest chain and that'll allow you to build your garrison. Once your garrison is built, you'll be able to upgrade it for some resources. If you look online, there'll be a map that shows you kind of where all the resource treasures are. You'll spend like 10 minutes, go get your treasures, and you'll have enough resources to upgrade that to a level 2 garrison. Once you have a level 2 garrison, right outside your main garrison building should be an NPC called Sargeras, and that will be how you access the LFR for both Horde and Alliance. And that NPC is going to give us access to Highmaul, which will be the Walled City, the Arcane Sanctum, and Imperator's Rise. Next will be Blackrock Foundry, which will give us access to Slagworks, Black Forge, Iron Assembly, and Black Hand's Crucible. And then the final raid will be Hellfire Citadel, which will have Hell Breach, Halls of Blood, Bastion of Shadows, Destructor's Rise, and Archimonde's Fall. Legion is next, and for this we want to head to the new Dalaran, which is found in the Broken Isles. You want to head over there, fly up to Dalaran, and just outside of the Violet Hold, which is kind of on the southeastern side of Dalaran, you'll find an NPC in front of this bluish portal that I'm showing you now, and this will give us access to LFR. The first raid will be Emerald Nightmare, which will have Dark Bow, Tormented Guardians, and Rift of Aln. Next up will be Nighthold, which is Arcane Aqueducts, Royal Athenium, Night Spire, and Betrayer's Rise. Then there'll be the Trial of Valor, which is the only one. Next will be Tomb of Sargeras, which will have Gates of Hell, Wailing Halls, Chamber of the Avatar, and Deceiver's Fall. And then finally we'll have Antorus, which will have Light's Breach, Forbidden Descent, Hope's End, and Seat of the Pantheon. The next expansion up will be Battle for Azeroth, and for this, each faction will have their NPCs found within their own specific areas. So for Alliance that'll be Borealis, and for Horde that'll be the Great Seal, and both of these NPCs can be found within your Hearthstone area, like your inn. So you'll want to head there, and I'll be showing you now where both the Horde and Alliance NPCs can be found. Once you get to your NPC, the first raid up will be Uldir, which will give us Halls of Containment, Crimson Descent, Heart of Corruption. Then there'll be Battle of Dazar'alor, which will give Defense of Dazar'alor or Siege of Dazar'alor, depending on your faction. And then there'll be Death's Bargain, Emperor's Fall, once again depending on faction. And then finally Victory or Death or Might of the Alliance. Next raid will be Crucible of Storms. Then also the Eternal Palace, which will have Grand Reception, Depths of the Devoted, Circle of Stars, and then finally there'll be Ny'alotha, which will have Vision of Destiny, Halls of Devotion, Gift of Flesh, and Waking Dream. And then finally moving on to Shadowlands, which is the expansion that got LFR access very recently. The NPC for this can be found within Erebos. You'll want to head to the Enclave and it'll be kind of on the left side of the main table in the middle. You'll find the NPC there. It's called LFR, I think. And that will give us access to Castle Nathria, which will have Leeching Vaults, Requiem of Opulence, Blood from Stone, Audience with Arrogance. Then we'll have Sanctum of Domination, which will have Jailer's Vanguard, Dark Bastille, Shackles of Fate, and Reckoning. And then finally we'll have Seplucher of the First Ones, which will have Ephemeral Plains, Cornerstone of Creation, Domination's Grasp, and the Grand Design. Everything from Cataclysm to BFA as a max level character you shouldn't really have any issues soloing. You might have a little bit of problem in Ny'alotha, but everything else should be pretty easy. And once we get to Shadowlands stuff, there you're going to quite struggle to solo most of it. You're going to want to get a group together or wait until later in the expansion where we start to overgear the stuff. Outside of that, look out for more videos coming soon. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.